anything in my own life, my own experiments, work, outside, social, whatever, that every time a problem arises that I help with,
Hmm.
once I go back to the CBT and continue reading, within a few couple pages, it gives me information that I could have helped more,
Hmm.
better.
Hmm.
That's why I was just short on the phone with Dom, because he has got his shit he needs to do, and I've got my shit that I need to do because I need to read more of this because I'm changing the frequencies because I need to. And because I know there's only so much that we can do, and that's exactly what I just told his mom, is that, what we'll do what we can with the collective intelligence and experiences that we all have,
Hmm.
and just left it at that.
So as I was cleaning, and I looked out here, I've already planned my talk with you. And as I make my way up here, and I saw you not focusing on your book, and you had reflections, I was like, ha, let me go and enlighten him real quick. I'm going to enlighten you real quick, which is number one, and don't make sure your head don't get too big as I'm telling you this. A little bit of knowledge about you can be really not helpful, not useful. Me, mine, I. Practice of the
Yeah,
non-self.
I've kept that in mind every time you give me a compliment.
You should not be moved by anything that's good or bad. Someone from the streets walk up to me and they said, Venerable, you are the most lovely monk. You are the most heroic monk, courageous monk I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I'm not moved by it. Or they come up and they say, you're a POS. I'm not moved by it either. Don't be moved by anything that's good or bad. Praise or blame.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the drastic, sharp turn for you in positivity and light has taken place for you. So therefore, you can see that you started to spin the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
The Buddha's first sermon is known as the turning of the wheel, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Long, that thing's like this long.
Yeah.
So when he started his first sermon with the 5 disciples, he started to spin the wheel in their minds of, it's turning. Eventually becomes a snowball effect.
Momentum.
So you've already started to spin the wheel. It's slow, it's gradual, and eventually it gets to, hopefully, the magnitude that I have dealt with, when I started manifesting on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
It's a positive thing for you, realizing that you are early praise and promise that the world is hoping to see, especially someone who's being cultivated, trained from a qualifying, authentic, experienced venerable. And comes with that, at a young age, spinning this wheel, comes with the great responsibility and challenge. The challenge that awaits for you. The challenge only if you're willing to accept. The challenge that I did not know was waiting for me as I started to spin the wheel with the first video on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I just wanted to be a simple monk, like I was, like I have been. And before TikTok came along, I just dragged my little phones out like I always do and just sat there and meditated.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't speak much. Then here comes, ta-da! The world is pushing the red button for help, and I decided to take on the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
With knowledge based on what I have accumulated in college, with knowledge based on what I've accumulated in life, the careful, slow, gradual movement of knowing where to help, when to help, and where I cannot.
Mm-hmm.
So with young students like you, it is very easy to take on this challenge because you want to help.
It's not an easy challenge.
And not knowing the how, you can end up with a lot of bodies on your hand and blood on your hand. And instead of sitting here and realizing that I've helped so many and not knowing the how and going through proper training, experience, guidance, supervisory guidance, one would sit here and blame the timing, always the timing. In psychotherapy, always the timing that gets a person.
Mm-hmm.
The timing of listening and the timing when to speak. Speaking at the right time, right place. You know, Heath in my class, he says, you know, every time I come to your Sunday session, you always tend to hit the spot. 21 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere down the line, you have to compress 21 years of my experience into perhaps 5 years. You're 21,
Mm-hmm.
so hopefully you're able to compress 21 of my years as long as I live, and I compress my own teachings and training into 5 short years for you to be the magnitude of the next, whatever you become the next of.
Mm-hmm.
As you, the CBT is only 0.0001% of the books that is coming forth in your face
Mm-hmm.
if you accept the challenge. And if you tell yourself, well, my name is Sam and I have choices to make. One, I can focus on me and not worry about other people, my money, my success, my life, my family, my kids. No one's ever going to blame you. I would not blame you if you chose that life, like the rest. To each his own. It is my hope that you become the next great provider for the world. But I know that that is a very rough path. The path that you are watching me go through.
I've tried it before with no training, and I understand that with the little bit that I've done or tried to do.
So, you know, this life is short, brief. Candles, brief. It's like buying a $5 candle and you realize it only lasts
5 days.
10 hours
Mm-hmm.
of continuous burning. Life is compared to that type of a candle. And that's why everybody else not on this challenge will never take this challenge, because why? Why would I help other people I don't know? Why? Why does Father Al stands out from 8 billion people? And at his time, during his time, 6 billion people. 6 billion people. Father Al, Mother Teresa. They work together. So again, it's something for you to think. You have an alarm going off. Something to think wisely, and hopefully somewhere down the line rise up to the challenge. But I would never blame you. Just know that. I would never be disappointed or blame you, whatever choice you make. Either you make it in a constant succession, or you take a break from it, you come back to it, you take a break from it, you come back to it. You know, my whole life, I was a provider.
Mm-hmm.
In the protection industry and all this industry, and then I took a break, then I come back, and I take a break, then I come, just like airsoft. I've retired airsoft about 8 times, 9 times in my life. Wherever and however in which order it goes in. Just note that I sit back somewhere up in a mountain or underneath a tree, just smiling, knowing that the wheel is turning, but slow, but gradual, but careful, meticulous, concise, and scientific. But just understand the weight of this. You know what? I've actually waited a long time to have this conversation. You are the first in the world that I'm having this conversation with and to. And because I thought that no one could rise to this challenge. I've already told the world that I am training other monastics, and when fundings ran out, I said they have to go back to their regular training. I can no longer provide. We were short of laptops, we were short of everything. The world did not heed my request.
Mm-hmm.
The world did not. They see me shoot up this flare up in the air and they're like, we didn't give a shit. Only a few heeded that flare, but they sent little boats. I don't need little boats. I need a Titanic. I need multiple Titanics to save whatever it is that I was doing. So therefore, you were the first to receive this type of talk. And just know that the challenge awaits. And the more things that you read, the more you realize, I don't know a lot of things.
I don't know shit.
Mm.
And I've always told myself that until I got too comfortable. And
Well, tonight you didn't demonstrate that sitting here
Mm.
as I'm actively assessing. You spoke over me.
Mm.
And you were asking things that
Irrelevant.
it's not that it is irrelevant, but the timing of it. Let the mother speak.
Mm.
Because we're gathering information. If you were a detective and you sit and this is not a crime solving case,
Mm-hmm.
but when the other person on the other side of the table start talking, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You try hard to get them to talk, then they talk, and guess what? Now you just sit back and gather evidence,
Mm.
right? In these cases, you also sit back and gather evidence to help. You can't do so if you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's right. So I had to stop you in the middle of it. And that's pretty bad if I have to stop somebody in the middle of a live.
Yeah.
What is that?
Stop.
On the table? Yank, turn it off. Something annoying about these power banks is that, like, well, I know why the alarm is there, so that if you're watching TV or something, and they're like, oh, yeah, 30% to watch NFL.
And I appreciate you for doing that.
Well, you, the person who is providing for other people has to catch himself. Ultra mindful.
Mm-hmm.
See, we have mindfulness, super mindfulness, and we have ultra mindfulness. Layers of watching your mind, scanning, and waiting to intervene, interject at the right time. And it is not the right time in the beginning, initial stages of listening and trying to teach, or perhaps what it is displaying how much you know. And right now, they don't want to know how much you know. They're trying to tell you what the problem is.
Mm.
The provider needs to understand that his job is to seek the what, and then he comes up with the how.
Mm.
He has to wait that timely and wait for it. But if he's always thinking about, I have something to prove, it's ego based.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other person is like, what? I haven't even finished.
Mm-hmm.
They know when you're not asking the right question.
Yeah.
They just know. So therefore, catch it. Again, patience in the presence of me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it is respectful to know that if I'm taking lead, the student sits back and watch how he does it, so that you can see the how and study the how and study the science behind the how, and not to talk over the teacher and step on his foot and dive in there and to display what? The teacher knows more about you than you know more about you.
Mm-hmm.
Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it is embarrassing in a clinical setting when other people see, well, obviously the teacher does not have a hold on his student.
Mm-hmm.
And the student is off the hook and handle and off the chain. So therefore, they do not develop unshakable faith and confidence, leaving their child to us to care for. This is their child. This is somebody's child. You are younger than him, 24. In Eastern philosophy and cultural view, he is technically like your brother. So in order to counsel someone who is the equivalent of your brother, you have to listen a lot more and learn how to ask questions.
The right
not
questions.
Correct, not jumping the gun the way that you did, because then that's not how we solve problems.
I became too attached because it was
Mm.
very similar.
That's all. I just wanted to come out here and I just wanted to tell you that. But you are, again, that's my job, right? My job is to come and tap you on the little shoulder and be like, psst, you're doing it again. You know? Get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you reel yourself back in and you go back to this, which is, you're doing it right. The one thing that is impressive during this whole encounter And need not me remind you, you sat there and you actually took notes. And I just glanced over it. I can't read upside down, but I saw you put the age, the name, and presenting as much as possible so you don't forget. It is exactly what I did, and I still have those handwritten notes scanned when when I told people, yeah, I'm going to do counseling sessions, and exactly like how I was trained. And truth be told, I was sitting there and I couldn't even tell you how much notes that I took on each individual. Then I realized, oh my God, I can't handle the amount of suffering out there anymore. Then, thank God I'm in, like, the wits up here. Then I got so skillful where I didn't need to take notes anymore. Then I put, it's not an efficient system at this time because of, I need assistants to sit there and take notes for me as I'm doing my job. Back to back. You know, back in the day, if you go back to my timeline, it was 5 hours straight back to back one-on-one counseling. An hour each person, 5, 6 person, back to back, back to back, back to back. And then daytime and then nighttime and then daytime and then nighttime and daytime and then nighttime. Yeah, I couldn't keep that system of clinical notes anymore. You know, it was too much. I can't. So that's now this replaces that. But then I don't even have time to go back to it.
Yeah.
So then now when you're hearing me counsel a student, I'm like, wait, tell me what you said last week again. They have no choice,
Yeah.
or else they can go find another therapist.
Yeah.
They can go find and pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
I do this for free. You know what I mean? So anyways, but that was impressive to see that you're writing down pertinent information. Clearly you are different than the rest. Different from the rest. And I don't have to sit there and spell it out for every single other ones. They're like, they're talking. What are we hearing? Do you not think that this is important, the age of the client? Do you not, I have to now I'm Professor Giroux at 35. Professor Giroux is like 55. And I'm like, oh my God, what? And sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to be a professor anymore. So we know what to look for in the rising star of a student because they display things. We know how we survive therapy school. So therefore, when a student comes along the way and they exhibit certain qualities never seen before, we realize, smart, intelligent, but we'll forget a lot of things and we have to tap them on the shoulder quite often. Either way, it's taxing for the teacher. It's taxing if you have dumb students, and it's taxing when you have highly intelligent students. Either way, we still lose billions of memory cells trying to put you all back in your place. Get what I'm saying?
I understand. That's why I took notes, because I know that I do so much shit throughout the day that if I didn't, I'd forget by tomorrow morning.
But, as I'm in there, will you watch me clean and fold my robes?
No.
It's spinning. Well, it's okay, don't worry. I just dance around the room. But it's spinning. What is spinning in there? Well, we're trying to readjust, recalibrate him. Because we don't want him to just be quiet all the time. Because then the teacher has to ask question why he's quiet all the time. We also don't want him to talk all the time because he's not listening. So we have to find the middle way in training him so that he remains the middle way, but also oscillate, move back and forth within a desirable latitude. Okay? So I was just like, it's all right. So yeah. But I just wanted to come out here and say that in the midst of me trying to fix my room so it doesn't look like Eric's room.
Yeah.
I will leave you to it. Much thinking for you to do. And that's what the teacher wants. The teacher wants to sit here and tell you things, and then you sit on it, and then you take notes, whatever stood out during these couple of paragraphs that I have told you. That's why it's being recorded, because you will forget and I will forget, and whoever's going to write a biography about me will realize, oh crap, that's how he trains his students. This is his policy. These are his procedures. And you sit on it. And yeah, that's all. I'll leave you alone now because you have much to do. Goodbye.
I reflect on everything you tell me, especially throughout my workday, because
I know you do, because now you start to sound like me. No student have used the word unshakable faith and confidence. You're starting to copy every single word I've said. Trademark, you're violating copyright laws.
I'm gonna send you a cease and desist first.
Not always.